On the 42nd episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast, we are going to be talking about some MLB benches clearings, the death of Hall of Fame O.J. Simpson, the Ippei scandal and how that's turning out. The Masters tournament is almost over, and we're going to end it off with some Hall of Fame. Yay or nay? Roll it! Welcome to HatTrick Sports, starring your host, Isaiah Carpenter. Bringing you the biggest sports headlines every week. This is the HatTrick Sports Podcast. All right, we are just going to get started here. We have a lot to talk about today. Like I said earlier, the death of O.J. Simpson is probably the biggest headlines, and not sports, but news in general. Obviously, a Hall of Famer, 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro, Heisman Trophy winner, but that is just one part of his life. He is a felon accounts of armed robbery and kidnapping, two separate events. He died from cancer at 76 this last week, which again, from a football perspective, about how he's changed the game of football in both the college and NFL level. You hate to see it, but from a legal standpoint, I mean, this guy wasn't the best guy in the world. I'm not going to get too political into this, especially on the legal side, but he did die at 76. He made his kids sign an NDA while he was on his deathbed. That is the weirdest. I've never heard of that. A non-disclosure agreement. That's just weird, dude. Like, tell your kids that you murdered your ex-wife and whatever, but you don't have to make them sign an NDA about that. Like, you're dead. You're not getting charged. You're like, what are you doing? What I want to see, and I know this definitely won't happen, is in his will he admits to killing the people and all of that, but I don't think that'll happen. But we can only hope. He after a few days, it's been a few days since his passing, and it turns out now that the glove does fit. After his hands dried up a little bit, the glove does fit on his hands. So whether we go back to court with that or not, all I'm saying is the glove fits. It's just all I'm saying. And yeah, you don't see a whole lot of felons in the NFL Hall of Fame. Now, obviously, there's a few, but. And this all happened after his career. It's just weird seeing a felon in the Hall of Fame, especially O.J. Simpson, who's probably more well known as being a felon than a football player. It's just not a good look for football. I mean, I know he was found not guilty, but still had to pay the civil and criminal lawsuits, whatever, before my time. But again, I'm not going to get too into the legal side with this. Big thing that's happened in the last week. Great football player, not a great person. We know that, but now he is no longer with us. What else do we have? Yeah, and he was charged as a felon for counts of armed robbery and kidnapping, not the trial of the century. Just so you know, when I was talking about felony, I wasn't talking about him murdering people. What else do we have? We have college basketball. The men's and women's March Madness is now over. UConn won the men's bracket with a total viewership of the finals of 14.8 million people. Now you might be saying, hey, Isaiah, that's a lot of people. Why are you bringing that up? Because the women's March Madness finals ended with South Carolina winning and having a total viewership of 18.9 million people. That is 4.1 million more viewers than the men's March Madness. First time that has ever happened. And I have been seeing a lot of different people saying that this might happen in the NBA and WNBA. Like maybe in our lifetimes that the WNBA will have more viewership than the men's NBA, the regular NBA. Now, if that happens in our lifetime, I would be shocked. I think this was just the case of South Carolina having some of the biggest, best women in college basketball, and Iowa obviously having Caitlin Clark. But again, you feel bad for Caitlin Clark. You know that she wanted to go out with a win, and it's unfortunate that she can't do that. And I guess she's going to the drafts. I know Ice Cube's offering her the big three offer. Again, I'm not exactly sure what that is. I know it's like 3v3 basketball that Ice Cube owns. And if she does that, I don't think so. I think she'll go in the draft. I think she's already declared for the draft in June, I believe. I believe when is the WNBA draft? And I think this upcoming WNBA draft, yeah, it's in April. It's April 15th. It's tomorrow? Oh, I was not aware of that. The WNBA draft is tomorrow. And Caitlin Clark's obviously going to go first overall. Again, you just hate to see her excelling in the college level and not being able to win off a championship in her final year. So you just hate to see it. But head coach of BYU, Mark Pope, is heading to the head coach position at Kentucky. He helped Kentucky win the 1996 March Madness. Again, not huge news. Kentucky, obviously, what were they in the March Madness bracket? Kentucky March Madness. And we see that they were the 3 seed. And what round did they lose in? What round did Kentucky lose in? What round? So they lost. Oh no, in 20, they were 3 seed. They lost in the round of 64. They were the 3 seed. They lost to Oakland. So again, I don't know if it was the head coach thing because obviously they had a great season, but they get Mark Pope in there from BYU, and I don't know who BYU's new coach is going to be, but congratulations, I guess, to Mark Pope for coming back to Kentucky after, 20 years? 30 years. What else do we have today? We have a lot to go over. MLB benches clearings. There has been there's been 2 bench clearings in the last week. One of them, and I think this is the bigger of the 2, is the Adames versus McCann debate. Now, what the whole public thinks is what happens is the Brewers were up a lot to the Orioles, and he pimped a home run. And the next at-bat, McCain didn't like it, started chirping at Adames chirped back, bench is clearing. But according to both of them, Adames and McCann, that is not why they started chirping. McCann confronts Adames about pimping home run is what everybody thinks, but apparently it was something else that they had to take care of, according to both Adames and McCann. So I don't know what it is. They didn't go into detail in press conferences. I watched both of their press conferences, and they didn't go into detail, but there was something else on the field that they had to take care of, and apparently it's been taken care of. There apparently won't be anything later. This isn't foreshadowing anything later in the season. But, again, I just want to know what happened there. And I obviously they won't say what happened. But the whole public thinks it was from Adames pimping a home run. And from both sides of the story, that is not what happened. And last night, we are filming this on Sunday the 14th, April 14th. Profar and Gavin Stone and Will Smith get into a little bit of an altercation. Gavin Stone is absolutely dominating the Padres, which is very unusual for Gavin Stone because he deserves to be in single A and not the majors. But yesterday, he kind of proved me wrong. So, Profar, the Padres are losing to the Dodgers 1-0. Stone is doing absolutely amazing. Profar doesn't like that Stone's doing amazing. And I don't hate this idea, but Stone throws a little high and into Profar. It's not going to hit him. It's probably 4 inches in. And Profar doesn't like that. He doesn't like that he's going up and in. He doesn't like that he's dominating. He's going to make a little bit of a little scene to make Gavin Stone a little mixed up. So Profar starts chirping at Stone. Will Smith starts talking to Profar like, hey, don't talk to my guy like that. Just stop. And then bench is clear. And I think that's what Profar wanted to happen. Profar wanted benches to clear so Gavin Stone would get out of his routine outside of dominating the Padres. But it did not work for long because at that same at-bat, finished the at-bat, Profar popped out to James Outman in center. And the Dodgers ended up winning that game, I believe, 5-2. I'm going to double-check that. Yeah, 5-2 last night. So Profar, it didn't work. Again, I think it was just a little scuffle. I don't think anything serious is going to happen later in the season. It's just one of those things. You just got to mix it up a little bit. But that is it for the benches clearings. But with Dodgers pitchers, Bobby Miller is on the 15-day IL. No specific pitch or play that happened, but he's on the 15-day IL for right shoulder inflammation. Doc and Miller both said that it started on Thursday, April 11th, and will end on the 26th, if I'm good at math. All right, so next week on Friday. Next week, Friday, he's able to come, or he's going to be off the IL, and then maybe they'll slowly bring him back to whatever they got to do. So you hate to see it. Dodgers, obviously, in the last few seasons have struggled pitching-wise, especially last season. And it's mainly because of injuries. But, yeah, nothing you can do about it. It doesn't sound anything serious. No surgery, no nothing. Just straight 15-day IL. Rashee Rice is in a little bit of trouble. I have been talking about this for probably the last 3 episodes. His involvement in a 6-car domino collision crash, leaving a few people in the hospital, nobody dead, last month, March. They have found him, it sounds like. So this is what I said a few weeks ago, and this is what I heard. Now, I'm going to kind of take that back because it sounds like it was kind of a rumor. But I said that Rashee Rice, they couldn't find him or they weren't looking for him or something. Again, I don't know if that part was true. But he surrenders to cops on Thursday, what was Thursday? The 11th, sorry. So he surrenders Thursday on charges from speeding, racing, I think is what the charge is called, in sports cars and involvement in a 6-car crash. This is not a good look for the Chiefs. This is not a good look for the NFL, especially that he has to surrender like that and they don't immediately find him. Now, is that part of the PD or who's to blame for not finding him earlier? I don't know, but it's not a good look for NFL. It's not a good look for the Chiefs. Suspension may be the solution to this. Maybe, again, the Chiefs, I think, are kind of like the Yankees and Dodgers of MLB. They'll go light on the suspension, but maybe my guess is 3-day suspension, depending on how the court case goes. If the court case is like, hey, you're going to have to spend time in jail, then obviously he can't play in the NFL, and more suspension will be added to that. But if it's just like, this is all alleged, so if he has nothing to do with it, then maybe just a few game suspension. But that's not for me to decide. That's for the NFL to decide. But again, you hate to see these big guys, especially on big teams like the Chiefs, get into trouble like that. We are cruising right along. All right, now for the topic we've been waiting for. Ippei is, in my opinion, the worst guy in sports right now. What a horrible guy. We talked about this a little before the podcast. This guy has a total losing bets of $183 million. He steals $16 million from his best friend of 10 years. He has $40 million of net losses. This is what made me laugh. Smallest wager was $10. Largest wager was $160,000 with the average wager of $12,800. An average bet of 25 bets per day. By doing this to his best friend of 10 years, or best friend I should put in quotes, because what are you doing? This was like a 10-year thing that's been going on. Absolutely horrible guy. He surrenders to LAPD or whoever's in charge of that. And he was put into custody, and he got let out on a $25,000 bonds. First of all, why are you giving this guy bonds? I know there's a lot of restrictions. He can't talk to Shohei. He can't leave the district. He has to go through gambling courses and stuff. But why are you giving this guy who spent, $182 million of gambling from stealing from his best friend and like, oh, not legal. Like, how are you giving him $25,000 worth of bonds? Like, and who's paying for that $25,000 worth of bonds? Like, obviously, he stole $60 million from Shohei, the greatest baseball player of all time. But you can pay for $25,000 bonds. I don't know who's paying for that. Maybe he bet with the judge, like, hey, I bet you I could pay this. And it was like, how much you want to bet? $25,000. And maybe something like that happened. I don't know. This guy is, again, like I said, the worst person in baseball. And I think that everybody, because I was talking to Mike, a former co-host on the HatTrick Sports Podcast, a few weeks ago before all this, he was saying that Shohei was guilty. And I was like, hey, why? Like, again, without... The Constitution says you're innocent until proven guilty. Like, there's nothing saying that he did it. I know it's a little fishy situation, but why do you think? And it basically all came down to, I had a feeling. I have a feeling that he is guilty. So I would like everybody who said that to apologize, maybe buy an Ohtani jersey so Dodger tickets are cheaper, so we can go to Dodger games. But I think that everybody who blames Ohtani, who said Ohtani shouldn't be part of baseball anymore because of this, he had nothing to do with this. Everybody who says that you're just scared of him. You're scared of the greatest baseball player of all time. You're scared. You want him out of the league because you're afraid the Dodgers are going to beat you. You're afraid that this guy's going to hit 3 home runs off of you. You're afraid in the next 10 seasons that he's going to throw a no-hitter against you. And that is why you think he is guilty, is because you're scared of him. That's the only reason I can think of. If you can give me any other reason, any other proof that he has anything to do with this, about him not even being able to speak in English and not translating to his accountant correctly, I mean, you think what you want, but obviously this isn't Shohei's fault. And again, all this eBay stuff is, as of right now, alleged. It's gonna be proven, I think, guilty, obviously. I mean, where's $182 of losing bets going? Where's it coming from, I guess? But, man, just what a horrible person Ippei is. What else do we have? So, again, alleged $60 million stolen from Shohei. It wasn't the full $182 million stolen from Shohei. Showed up in court in shackles, but they then took them off. They took the shackles off. I couldn't find a picture of Ippei in shackles. I'm going to look for it again, but I still can't find it. A picture of him. Yeah, there's no pictures of him in shackles. They should have kept the shackles on, man. Like, this guy doesn't deserve a lot of stuff. And this guy doesn't deserve for his arms and legs to be free. He showed up to court in shackles. They eventually took him off after realizing, I guess it was unhuman-like or something. And he was released on $25,000 bonds and conditions of no, again, this is what really makes me mad. He tried to apologize to Shohei, the Dodgers, the MLB, the accountant, ESPN, everybody. You can't apologize for that after 10 years of doing this kind of stuff. I just truly don't think that you can apologize for it. Now, if it was like a one-time thing, like he admits he was wrong, he stole maybe $50,000 for a bet for the Super Bowl or something, like, hey, I had the 49ers, I'm sorry, or I had the Chiefs, I'm sorry, I'll pay you back, I'll take all the charges. If it was a one-time thing and he, admits to it, whatever. Again, that's not good, but whatever. It's better than doing this. And trying to apologize for your best friend, spending literally every day with him, teaching him a language, lying to his accountant, pretty much ruining a big part of his life. Now, this is going to stick with Shohei for 50 years. After just announcing that he's been married, just not good for Shohei. Just not good publicity for Shohei. Ippei was never on Shohei's side. It's horrible. And it's not official, but Ippei's wife did unfollow Ippei on Instagram, which, again, I think will lead, after all of this, to a divorce, which is glad. I don't think Ippei deserves a wife after this. I mean, just what he's done to Shohei, to all baseball fans, Angels, Dodgers, all MLB fans in general, the MLB accountants that handle all of this money, just lying to them, just absolutely horrible guy. But again, what really makes me laugh about all of this is his smallest wager was $10. I mean, dude, $10. That's funny. $10 compared to $160,000 is just funny to me. Dave Portnoy commented on that after winning his $2.6 million from UConn to win the March Madness, which he did end up winning. I think it was $600 to win $2.6 mil. All right. Now, I'm done with this Ippei stuff. He's made me mad enough. The Masters is going on at the time of this recording. By the time this comes out, the Masters will be over. Here we go. So the leaderboard right now, and I think who will end up winning is Scotty Scheffler. What a dude. He's at the time of this recording, he hasn't started his fourth round yet, but he's at -7. He's up by a stroke. So from tied 6th place, tied 6th is 7th, tied 6th is at -2, then 5th is -3, then -4, then -5, then -6, then -7. So all these guys are within a stroke of each other. But I thought it was funny that it was exactly a stroke. So Scheffler starts at 235. Again, this won't matter at the time when this comes out. But Tiger Woods is not looking so good. He did make the cut. I'll give him that. But right now he is in dead last of 60th place with +15. He had a triple bogey this morning. He's lost it, man. I think this is going to be his last Masters. But I think Charlie Woods, his son, will come up and eventually be not at his dad's level in his prime, but will be in the Masters one day. And I can't wait to see that. But I think this is Tiger Woods' last Masters. Maybe he goes for one more until he doesn't make the cut. But you hate to see it. It was all after that car accident. Everybody thought that he would never play again. But he did, and he persevered. He said his back was had spasms. Yesterday, the Saturday, maybe Friday or Saturday, and that's why he shanked a couple balls. But again, I think his body's just not ready for it. I think that car accident really ruined him, and he's just never going to be the same again. How old is he? How old is Tiger Woods? Tiger Woods is 48. So yeah. But all right, this is what my question is for every single professional or semi-professional or golf pro, anybody that does golf for a living. All right, let's say Tiger Woods retires at 48. What are you going to do for the next 30, 40 years? Like, what do retired people golf? Like, is he just going to golf for fun? Like, isn't that what he's kind of doing now? I mean, if you're going +15 on the Masters, I think you could do better than that at a regular golf course. But again, is this just fun for him? Is he just doing this because he was invited? I mean, that's what I would do. If I'm a professional golfer at 20, I'm golfing until I'm 80. Just for whether for fun or not, I'm taking it all the same way. Especially after I eventually retire from golf. But it'll be, I think he's going to finish in dead last, Tiger Woods. It's unfortunate to see, but at least he made cuts. But Scheffler, I think, will win. And at the time of this recording, I'm just going to assume at this time, so when this comes out, it doesn't sound weird. But Scotty Scheffler will, okay, this is what I'm going to say. Scotty Scheffler won the Masters, beating top 3 being Americans. Again, Homa was first in the first day, Max Homa. But is now 3rd at -5. I think it's a good name for himself, I guess. But I think that is it. What we are going to do now is, because I have no idea, I forgot to pick somebody. We are going on to Hall of Fame, yay or nay. There we go, Hall of Fame, yay or nay, brought to you by HatTrickSports.com. Get all of your merch apparel. Actually, before we go into Hall of Fame, or nay, I think next week we will have one of the biggest announcements we have ever had in HatTrick Sports. I might announce it next week, maybe the week after. It depends when everything happens and everything's ready. But just stay tuned for next week, because we might have the biggest announcement in HatTrick Sports history. But now on to Hall of Fame, yay or nay. There you go, take 2. For Hall of Fame, yay or nay, we are going with... Should we go with Max Homa? I think we're going to go with Max Homa. 33 years old. This was picked last minute. So we are going to just look up his stats and profile right now and see what's happening. So he has 6 career wins. He's 33. He turned pro in 2013. He has 1 top 10. He's played in 184 events, 6 PGA Tour wins, 1 international win. He's made 116 out of 184 cuts, top 10 finishes. He has 32 of those, and 13 of those 32 are he finishes top 5. He has 2 third place finishes and then 1 runner up. This is not including the Masters. If he makes top 3 in the Masters, this add 1 to all of those. He joined the tour in 2014. He has made official money, $25.1, I guess if we round up, $25.2 million. PGA Tour wins 2022, 2023, Farmers Insurance Open 2022, Fournette Championship 2021, Fournette Championship 2022, Wells Fargo Championship 2021, the Genius Invitational in 2019, Wells Fargo's Championship. And international, that was all tour wins. Some international wins. He won the Ned Bank Golf Challenge in 2023. So again, I don't really know what defines a Golf Hall of Famer, but if you're making $25.1 million by playing golf, I think that's a Hall of Famer. And again, if he gets top 3 in the Masters, yeah, we'll do this. If he gets top 3 in the Masters, he is in the PGA Hall of Fame. If not, he doesn't. We'll go with that right now. If he ends his career after the Masters and he gets top 3, he's in the Hall of Fame. If he doesn't, he's not in the Hall of Fame. I don't know how Golf Hall of Fame works, but it's a yay for me if he gets top 3. And right now he's top 3, so it's a yay. All right, I think that is it. Thank you for watching the 42nd episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Make sure to check us out wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube for all the visuals. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Check out Shop HatTrick Sports for sports apparel. And we will see you guys next week for episode 43, where one of the biggest announcements in HatTrick Sports could be made. All right, see you.